Hi everybody, thanks for watching. Before I get into what I'm going to talk about for most of this video, which is my debate with Shockofgod, I have a few housekeeping bits I want to take care of right up front since I've got your attention. First of all, have you seen this kitty? Have you seen this kitty that I have? Yes. What a good kitty. Isn't she sweet? That's for you, Ponergeist. Hello. Yes, everybody wants to see my pussy. Go on, run away. That's the first thing. The second thing is congratulations to my friends, my pals, Christopher and Kristen. They got married this past weekend. I was their best man, and a very fine best man I was, if I don't mind saying so myself. And check out the cool party favors they gave us. They gave us, as a favor for coming to the wedding, these awesome coffee cups. This is really cool. You get a lot of coffee in there, which is cool because I drink a fuckload of coffee. And there's a Dr. Seuss quote on the back of it, which I don't really give a fuck about. But it's a nice cup. The third thing is, in all the excitement over the weekend, with the wedding and then the debate, I totally spaced out on Everybody Draw Muhammad Day. I completely missed it. So I'm going to make up for that now by drawing Muhammad. So it won't be Everybody Draw Muhammad Day. It'll be Steve Draws Muhammad Day, but the thought's there, I think, anyway. Before I do that, though, I'm going to draw it on my whiteboard. I have to erase this awesome drawing of the cat, the aforeseen cat, that my wife did like 2 years ago. It breaks my heart that I have to erase this to draw Muhammad, because Muhammad just ain't worth it, but drawing Muhammad is worth it. It's a drawing of the cat, and you can see there, it says, there's the kitty, and the text says, Audie, that's the cat's name, Audie says, I love tuna cunt rags. Isn't that great? That's what my wife drew. So I'm gonna have to erase that now, which is too bad. Okay, and thanks to the magic of turning the camera off and then turning it back on like 10 minutes later, my drawing of Muhammad is finished. That thing that my wife drew with the cat took forever to get off of here. I really had to put some ass into it to erase it. But anyway, it's off. And here is my belated Everyone Draw Muhammad Day drawing. There he is. There's Mo, as I like to call him, because we're pals. And what Mo is saying, in case you have trouble seeing the text, is, Hi, I'm Muhammad, Prophet of Islam. I lived at a time when sticking your dick in a little girl was acceptable. Just one reason why no one in 2012 should care what I thought about anything. Thanks, Mo. I felt this uncontrollable urge, although not uncontrollable, because obviously I controlled it, to go, Hi, I'm Muhammad, Prince of Eternity and Guardian of the Secrets of Castle Grayskull. Anyway, so that's Everyone Draw Muhammad Day. Sorry I missed that. Now let me move on to the real topic at hand of the video, which is my debate that I had with Shockofgod on Sunday. I cannot tell you what a positive experience it was. Having debated with him, and we debated actively for over 2 hours, just the two of us going back and forth, and then also answering questions from the people in the chat room. All of the questions were directed at me, by the way, which I found flattering in a way. But also kind of telling, you know, like I was the atheist in the predominantly Christian chat room, and they were like testing me or demanding explanations from me. But it was all good. I enjoyed it. And actually, after Shock left, Shock logged off. He said he had to get up for work the next morning, which I understand. He left, and I hung around in the chat room for probably close to another hour, just talking to some of the moderators and some of the other people who had been there for the debate. He actually played one of my videos during the debate. It was there was only 2 times when he resorted to a visual aid. Most of it, he didn't use a PowerPoint presentation in the chat room, although he had that capability. He just spoke on the microphone and presented his arguments orally as I did, so it was an even playing field. There were only 2 times that I can remember where he resorted to a visual aid, and one of them was to make a point about transitional fossils, because he doesn't understand, or at least he is not showing that he understands how evolution actually works. He made the old argument about how there are no transitional fossils and where are the transitional fossils. And I pointed out that every fossil is potentially a transitional form, because that's how evolution works. If a species comes from an ancestor and leaves a descendant, then that species, the fossil of that species, is a transitional form. That's the way it is. There's no such thing as a special transitional form, like, you know, the old, like, oh, you need to find something that's exactly halfway between a modern human and some distant ape ancestor in order for it to be considered a transitional form. That's not the way it works. That's not what a transitional form is. But anyway, he resorted to a visual aid for that. And then then the second time he played a video of mine. He played 5 Stupid Things About Jesus, which is one of my favorite of the 5 Stupid Things About videos. And he played the whole thing up until the very end when I sing the rewritten version of the Spider-Man song, when I changed the lyrics of the Spider-Man song to be about Jesus. He cut it off right there, which I suppose was an act of charity on his part, saving the room, my singing. But it was really cool. I didn't expect that. And he was doing it, I think his point was to argue against the atheist formulation of morality by saying that my atheist morality allowed me to say these rude things about Jesus, therefore it's inferior. I think that was the point he was trying to make, but it didn't really work on me, and I don't think it worked on any of the atheists that were in the room. I still don't see why it's immoral to mock something that you feel is worthy of mockery. But I think he was on about that because he had showed his mother that video, and his mother got freaked out about how I was using potty mouth words on Jesus, you know, and I think she said it. He was talking before I even got there, before I even arrived at the chat room. Some people told me he was talking about the debate and talking about, you know, why do I feel this way about Christianity? Maybe I was molested as a child, or his mother said maybe I had been molested as a child, and that's why that's why I'm an atheist. First, he tried to get me to apologize for using profanity to describe Christianity, or for there's a point in one video where I say something like Christians are bigoted and homophobic, by which I meant some Christians are bigoted and homophobic. I never meant to imply that every single Christian is a bigoted homophobe, and I think my work as a whole testifies to the fact that I don't think that I clearly am not of the opinion that every Christian person is a horrible person. But nevertheless, he asked me to record a little thing for his mom, and he said he wasn't going to put it up on his YouTube page. It was just for his mom. And he's already posted his edited version of the debate on his channel. I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know if he cut out that part or not. But you know, it's not a big deal whether he did or he didn't, because it would have been fine with me if he would have posted it. And I think Monkey Tail 2002 I think has that on his version of the debate, because he recorded it himself. He was there. You know, he said, "Code, can't you just say something nice to my mom?" And I thought, in a way, it was kind of silly, because I thought my initial reaction when he started repeatedly saying, "Well, you know, my mom was really offended by the stuff you said about Jesus and Christians," my initial reaction was, "So?" You know, your mom's a grown-up. I think she can handle it. I don't. She will persevere somehow. She will get over the fact that some guy on the other side of the country that she doesn't even know talks some shit about Jesus. I think she'll be okay. That was my initial reaction. But on the other hand, it's kind of sweet. You know what I mean? The guy's, you know, yes, it's a blatant appeal to emotion. And yes, it's a sign that maybe the debate went better for me than it looked like. If he's starting to bring up his mom, but I don't know, I thought it was a sweet thing, and I recorded something for his mom to assure her that I didn't mean all Christians when I said Christians are bigoted and homophobic assholes and things like that, and that I didn't want her to think that I thought that of her, because I don't even know her. And I said some nice things about Shock that I do really believe after the debate. He is a good debater. He is. I mean, he's a good debater in his format. He's good at framing arguments to his advantage, which, when you're a Christian apologist, is a necessary skill, because the arguments aren't that good. So you have to frame the arguments. If you want to come off looking good in a debate, you have to frame the arguments to your advantage. That's one of the reasons why people say that William Lane Craig is such a great debater. They say, "Oh, Craig wins all these debates." And for a while, I never understood that, because Craig's arguments are so terrible. His premises are just preposterous, and his presentation is always so stilted and wooden, and there are many times where he seems like he's just totally ignoring what the other guy says, and he's just going by his prepared statement, even when he's supposedly supposed to be responding to what the other person said. And there were some times last night when I felt like Shock was doing that to me, that he was just moving right past points I had made to go into, you know, whatever he had wanted to say originally. But there wasn't a judge there. We weren't being evaluated by independent judges, so it's all a matter of opinion who wins a debate and who doesn't. And in a situation like that, where you have to command the room and you have to appeal to people's opinion of who won the debate, that's a perfectly legitimate technique. It may not be the most honest in terms of wanting an open, honest conversation about the subject, but if you want to make yourself look good and the other side look bad, that's a perfectly fine way to go, and I don't resent him for trying that at all. I didn't go that way. I took a more laid-back approach. I thought it was funny, he said he presented 17 arguments for theism, and then he actually went through and I guess checked off the arguments that I addressed in my rebuttals, and then at the end of the debate he said, oh, there were 7 or 8 arguments that I made that Steve never even addressed, you know, and that was another point in his favor, and that was another reason why he won the debate, because look at these arguments I made that he never even addressed. That seems a little childish to me, but if that's how he wants to do it, and clearly it is, then that's his prerogative. The take-home message, as Professor Murphy used to say for me, is that it was a really fun debate. It was a really good time. I found Shock to be a good host. I thought his moderators did a very good job. They treated me very well. Part of the trick, I think, part of what trips people up is when you debate Shock in his chat room, when you're speaking or when Shock is speaking and you have to pay attention to what he's saying in order to know what to respond to when it's your turn, just ignore the chat room completely. I mean, because some of the moderators, I think one of the moderators, Princess something, kept like demanding that I explain some point about my objection to the moral argument, and I just didn't even pay any attention to that. I was saying what I needed to say to address Shock's points and to make my arguments. It was a very positive experience, and I'm glad that it went better for me than it has for a lot of atheists. And at the same time, having said that, I don't mean to diminish or contradict any of the negative things people have said about Shock. I just did not experience them myself during the debate. I was very well treated by him, by his moderators, by the Christians in the chat room. I'm glad that some of my friends from the atheist side made it in. I saw Doc Gregory was in there. Angus, Monkey Tail was in there. Varjak was in there the night after he got married. That is yeoman's work, my friend. When it's the night after you got married and you got your ass parked in a Christian chat room to watch your buddy debate a Christian, that's pretty cool. That's a real solid there. So thanks for that, Varjak. The chat room only held 50 people, and it was well full long before I even showed up. So they were necessarily having to boot some people out to make sure there was enough room for me to get in there. So not everybody who wanted to see it live got to see it. So if you do want to see the debate, if you do want to watch it, Shockofgod uploaded his version yesterday morning as I'm uploading this. I'm uploading this on Tuesday, the 22nd. So it would have been Monday the 21st, the morning after the debate. Shock uploaded his version, which was edited down to an hour and 15 minutes. So a lot of what we did was cut out from that. So that's on Shockofgod's channel. You can watch that version, or my friend Angus, Monkey Tail 2002, got in there about an hour before the debate started and managed to hang in there the whole time, didn't get booted out. And he recorded the debate from an hour before it started all the way to the end. And he has it on his channel. It's a 3-hour file. It's a 3-hour video. And the actual debate doesn't really start until, I think, about 40 minutes in or so, if I remember. So if you want to watch his version and skip it, I was going to borrow Angus's version and upload it to my channel and put it up that way so you guys could see it. But I think I'm going to just direct you to Monkey Tale 2002's version. I'll put a link of it, a link to it here on this video. I'll just direct you over there, because I think he had to get up early in the morning to see it, because I think it started at like 4 a.m. his time, and like I say, he was there early, and he recorded the whole thing from before it started all the way to the end. You get to see a little bit at the beginning, before I was even there, where Shock is talking about how his mom thought I was molested as a child and stuff like that. It's kind of interesting. So I would say go watch, if you want to see the debate, go watch that version. Go watch the Monkey Tale 2002 capture of it. And give him some views, and give him a little bit of ad revenue from it, because he definitely deserves it for being there and for doing that for me, and for putting it up and having a record of the whole thing. That's really cool. So yeah, I wouldn't call it the great debate. I think that's I didn't think it would turn out that way. Shock says he won, because of course he does. He wins every debate if you ask him. He wins them before they even happen, so it doesn't really matter. I think, like I said, I think that's a little childish to say, see, atheism fails again. It's a matter of opinion. A lot of the atheists who watched the debate contacted me afterwards and said they thought I did a good job, and I'm glad that you think so. I think I did all right. I think I got better the further it went on. The longer the debate went, the better I got, the better arguments I was making, I think. And I thought I did reasonably well during the question period. So I wouldn't say that it was a blowout to one side or the other. I thought it was an interesting conversation. It ended amiably. We agreed to do something like this again. I'm probably going to stop by the chat room every once in a while and hang out and shoot the shit with people who are interested in the same thing that I am. This great question of the existence of God, atheism versus theism, all these things. And to those of you who were there, thank you so much for being there. For those of you who contacted me afterwards to tell me what you thought of it, thank you. To those of you who said you couldn't make it and left me comments or sent me private messages or Facebook comments to wish me good luck, I really appreciate that. And I'm glad you were there for me, and I'm glad you were interested, and I'm glad that it came off as well as it did. It was a lot of fun, and I hope that we do it again sometime real soon. And hey, if you're wondering if that little girl you've had your eye on is old enough to marry and copulate with, just follow Muhammad's golden rule. If there's grass on the field, play ball.